Welcome to Pretty Strong, a safe place where women just have great conversations. So we want to welcome you into this space and enjoy the time that you're going to be having with us. We have a great guest today. It's Romy Titus. Many of you will know her as a sports journalist, and we're going to find out more about her this moment. Welcome, Romy.
Thank you so much, Tracy.
It's just so amazing to have you here.
Good to have you. You make good coffee too.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, actually, I didn't make it.
Oh, whoever made it.
Okay, so I put in the coffee and the sugar, if that helps.
The mixing you didn't do.
Is it?
Okay, it's
Brilliant.
fine. It's good.
So, back to where we were. You are like what I know are many things. Firstly, what is it like sitting on that side of the chair?
Awful. I want to be in
Really?
control. I want to ask the questions. I'm already thinking what you're going to ask me. It's not really awful because I guess I know you,
Yes.
but a little different from what I'm used to. I'm used to being the person
So
in
have you
command
done
and in
this
control.
before?
A couple of times.
Really?
Yeah, a couple of times.
And do you end up asking the questions eventually?
No.
Do you manage to turn it
no,
around?
I always try and know my place. Like
Okay.
when I am the anchor
Yeah.
or the host, then that is the role that I assume. But today I'm just me and I get to
Okay.
relax and
Yay,
just have
I'm so
fun.
glad. I'm glad. I want you here. So the Romy. So everyone knows you as a sports journalist. But you're a sports journalist. You're a mom. You're a wife, and now humanitarian, which we will get to. So I've put that in no particular order. So what order would you put that in?
Mother, friend, sister, and all the others.
And all the and so where's wife?
Isn't wife, but I accept in the new year. I accept that title as wife. I've been dating since I was 17 and I
Okay.
don't know really where he is, you know.
Oh, okay.
I have a daughter who's
Yes,
3. It
okay.
didn't work out with her dad and we were
Okay.
together for about 3 years.
Yeah.
So I'm an only parent. I raise her single-handedly and he doesn't really have a role. He'll check in when he feels
Okay.
like it, but he's not really a part of our family setup.
And so, and it you okay? I mean, then you a seriously independent, single working mom, 100%.
100%.
And how? So that is a. I mean, you're a great example for Hera, your daughter. And does she see that yet?
Look, she's at the age where she's asking, where's my father? So there's a picture of him on her wall and all my family and all her loved ones who aren't close by. Because
Yeah.
we live in Joburg. Most of my family is in Cape Town.
Okay.
So she knows who he is and she has had some interaction, you know. And every now and then, which is once in a blue moon, they'll send each other voice notes. So she knows who he is, but she keeps asking, you know, about him. And I think I've got to be very careful as to the story I narrate because it's going to be the story for the rest of her life. You know, I don't think he's coming back. And so I've got to be careful. That's always at the back of my mind that I never make him out to be a monster or, you know, everything else that I really want him to be because
That's how you feel.
yes, but that's about me and it isn't about me, it's about her. So I've got to narrate this story where he's still respected, you know, as her father, because I'm sure later in life, if she wants, and she's old enough, she'll go out and find him.
I've never, strangely enough, never been like a girly girl. I've grew up in Cape Town on the football field. Never really had like a female crew around me. I've got 2 older brothers, so I was always surrounded by men. Do you have your tribe, like your crew? And are they men? Are they women? Are they a mixture? Like who are do you have that girl tribe?
I don't know if I'd call it the girl tribe, because much like you, I'm probably more around men than what I am around women. I don't make friends very easily. And the friends
me
that I
neither.
have made have been around since literally primary school, high school, when I started working at the SABC, and probably 4 if I count them. I can count my best friends or my closest friends on one hand. And I like that, you know. And yes, I meet other people as we go along, and so I have acquaintances, but my close buddies who sort of know everything are very few, very few.
But I think, like, I'm exactly the same. I mean, so many people say to me that especially in football, I've been called the Ice Queen. It's a wonderful title to have. And because I am very careful of who I bring into my circle, in my tribe, because I think it's a very
It's a sacred space.
It very much.
Yeah, everybody
Sacred
can't
space.
come in and stay.
Exactly.
No.
You can't just climb that. I mean, you've got to really climb high.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and you've got to be like pole vaulting, which some people have had to do over that wall.
Nothing wrong. I made it.
And if you land safely, then like you are in.
Yeah.
So like you got to, you know, work a
But
little.
it's the same thing with me. People say that I'm unfriendly, and maybe that is just the facade. And whoever you are, if it is that you weren't let in, then you need to stay there. You know,
Yeah.
that's my facade for you to be able to keep the boundary. I've got to protect mine, and you
Yeah.
protect yours. And yeah, like if you haven't made it to my brown couch at my house, then that is,
Yeah,
you
it's just-
stay there, you stay on the
it's
outside.
just the way it is.
And it's okay. And I think also you've got to be careful. I hate talking about the male-dominated world that we work in, but you've got to be careful. The minute you smile a little bit wider than you usually
Yeah.
do, now I'm no longer respected as a touchline reporter or a journalist. I'm like, oh, now I'm a piece of meat.
Yes.
So when I am on the touchline, I make sure that I wear pants and my hair is tied. Yes, it might not be what I wanted to wear that day, but for starters, when the wind blows and you're trying to do a link and your hair is all over the place, makes no sense. And also, if the wind is going to come in a certain direction and pick up your skirt, that's also not going to
Yeah,
be very
yeah.
nice. But I mean, if you look around on a soccer pitch and you see men and you see pants, I don't think the brain registers that it could be a female in
Do you
the
wear
corner.
heels? You don't wear heels.
I wear wedges because why do you want to
Because
wear
you
heels?
can't wear heels. I know.
Yeah.
Some people do, and you see them, their heels being like slowly going into the.
Look, and if I do wear
soil.
heels, I've got actually those little heel stoppers, so my heels don't sink into the grass. But sometimes I just think it's a lot of work.
Yeah. I want to get to something because we've like had conversations about this before, and as you know, I'm in football, and when I did my level 3, I was one of 2 women. There were 35 men, and you just reminded me of something because we'd be on course for 2 weeks together, and you said, you know, men look at you, start looking at you at a piece of meat. And that's like after 2 weeks, that's how men started looking at me. Like I would be saying to them, you need to go home. Like we all need to go home because I'm starting to I feel like a piece of meat right now. So we've had a few conversations. So I need you just to like tell me the story of, are we allowed to mention the teams?
I don't know.
I think it's a
no,
common
no, no, no,
knowledge. So some PSL
yeah,
teams.
yeah, some
Okay,
PSL.
some prominent, well-known PSL teams, they would not allow you to use the bathrooms or to be a certain distance from the bench. And what you need to tell, like what was their reason?
So because of Muti. So as I understood, when women work, so if it is that there's a woman floor manager or whoever, you know, in the crew, it needs to go through to the PSL. So whoever we work for, whichever broadcast station, channel, you'd have to then submit and say, okay, so Romy will be there, Tracy will be there, so-and-so will be there, and flag that they are female, and then send it back to the club so that the clubs know, okay, so we've got 4 or 5 females, and these are their positions, which means they're going to be on the field, they're going to be in the tunnel, because Muti, they use Muti.
So what have you got to do with Muti?
I have no idea,
Like,
but
what, do you
apparently
bring
a
bad
woman,
luck 'cause you're a
yes, yes. And sometimes, you know, when these certain teams do play, and obviously when you're on your cycle,
Yes.
that's also another thing, you know, so it hinders with the Muti quite
evil
badly.
if you're on your
Correct.
cycle.
And I'm just like, and they're going to lose if you're on your cycle. And then some days I sit there and I'm thinking, but I'm on my cycle and didn't you win today?
Yeah.
So what's the point?
Yeah.
But then again, I don't subscribe, and so I won't see the point. You know, I just think we're women, we're working here, we're doing a job just like everybody else. We've got to deliver. We have, you know, bosses who measure and look at us and, you know, standard operating procedures, all the rest, and we've got to be appraised, and just let me do what it is that I do, as opposed to all these other things coming into play. But they do, and you feel it. You can't walk in the dugout either, so there's security in the dugout, making sure that you don't. So
Making sure they stop you.
yes, they will stop you. And so just for kicks, I will walk like I'm going to walk in the dugout, just for a good
Just
laugh.
to
And they'll
annoy
come
them.
and like, no, you know.
Obviously, you need coping mechanisms because it must be very tiresome. I mean, I just found as a coach, it was tiresome. You know, a lot of the times coaches wouldn't shake my hand before a game because they were so scared that I'd be passing bad luck onto them, either because that's just what they believe, but mostly because I was a woman. So it's like, don't touch me, you're a woman and you're going to give me bad luck. So you know, you got to navigate your way around those situations. And often, like, sometimes you don't feel like doing it because it's just very annoying and
Yeah.
you just really want to have your say. So, like, how do you... So we didn't want to talk about a male-dominated industry, but the reality is it mostly is. So how do you navigate, like, do you navigate your way around, you know, sometimes on a day where you just don't feel like it? Like, you know, are you always respectful, or do you sometimes just
Look,
say,
there
like,
are days where you
enough?
just want to leave it. You just want to blow your top. But I go to a soccer pitch knowing that as much as a coach, an assistant coach, and players, I have a job and I need to execute my job. And that is my main focus. That's my absolute number one. I make it a rule, a blanket rule, that I do not walk into a dugout of any team, because I'm going to forget now which ones. So I'm just like, none of them. I will greet the coach outside the little dugout. And often they're like, why are you standing there? You can come in. And I'll be like, no, you can come out, you know. Because tomorrow I don't want to hear I was in the dugout
Exactly.
and I
Yeah.
disrespected whoever, or I didn't listen, and then it trickles down to work, and I don't. So you come out of your dugout if you want to talk to me, or I'll wave at you from wherever I am, or if I'm close enough and I know that you don't mind to shake my hand, I'll shake or chat to you, find out what's the latest from your team, who's in, who's out. And that's pretty much how I do it. So maybe that's why me too, I'm the ice queen, you know.
So how was it a difficult road to get to where you are now, or being a woman, a journalist, a female journalist, to where you are now? You are successful, you know, people know who you are, you have a likability factor. Was this road getting to where you are, was it hard, difficult, or easy, or did opportunities come your way? Did you have to fight harder than you feel if you...
Yeah, and I'm done fighting. Do you know that? I'm really done. If it is that I don't stand on a football pitch again to do touchline, I'm fine. That is where I am. I'm at a crossroads now, like a bit of a T-junction, where do I continue doing this? Because I'd really love to do something different. And it's a little bit saturated. I'm not too sure why it's not the same with rugby or cricket, but everybody wants to do football. I decided to change my focus and do football solely when the 2010 World Cup came along. And I thought this is a good time for me to actually hone my skill in sport and not dabble between hard news and sport, just sport, you know, and perfect my skill there. I wouldn't say I've perfected it, you know, but I also just feel that it's great that women are coming into the fold and that there are more and more women. But are there more and more women for the right reasons, you know? Or is it nice to put on a pretty dress and makeup and go and present? Or are you entrenched in this? Are you for this? Do you live, eat, breathe this, you know? Or are you going to have your feelings hurt when the coach doesn't answer the questions the way you want it answered? Because, again, that's a presenter and not a journalist. So often I feel women are in it for the wrong reasons and not the right reasons. And so I'm at that crossroads where it's been great. Everything has been wonderful. The fight, the victories, the embarrassing moments, all of it. It's been wonderful. And I don't know if I want to do it anymore.
So name one embarrassing moment.
One embarrassing moment, because I'm pretty much self-taught in live television. They came and told me, this is camera 1, 2, 3. This means cue, off you go. I was about 19, 20. And I didn't keep time on my script. And in news, you get like a script this big. So I said, hi, welcome, this is the news, whatever, started reading, and then the auto cue died. So I couldn't read anything, and there's just black. So I'm just like, so what am I supposed to do now? So I looked down, and I was still on hello and welcome. So I said, yeah. And then I just looked in the camera and I said, shit. And then I just went bright red. And then I looked down, and then I thought, my granny must have heard me, because this is like day 3 on the job, like the entire time.
And this is live.
This is live. And then I just thought, look, you've got to now just compose, put it together, and carry on. So I scrambled for at least a good minute and a half, and then continued. And that has to be the most embarrassing moment. And I think I learned the hard way.
On live television.
Yes.
With your gran watching.
Yes, everybody watching.
Everyone watching.
And then afterwards, the phone rang, and I was just like, I'm just going to get it now from my dad, from this one, from everybody. And also in our debrief, no one said a word, because I thought, if my editor says anything now, my comeback really is, it's day 3. Did you send me for training? No, you didn't. And so these things are going to happen if it is that you haven't given me the tools to know what to do. And that has been the most embarrassing moment, so I know.
But don't you feel like that is the relatable moment? Like people almost need to see the human factor, because we see people standing behind the camera and everyone, it's also composed and kind of scripted in a way. And so at that moment, you'd almost see someone that's just, okay, I can relate to that.
I guess.
I don't think everybody would kind of see that as we'd all laugh and be like, oh my gosh, thank goodness it wasn't me.
Yeah, and
but it's still a relatable moment.
It is, but not day 3 on the job with live television, and you're a whole 20 years old.
Yes, when you're so young.
It isn't. And I could never say Pacquiao, ever. For the longest time, I could never, okay, Manny is okay, but Pacquiao. So it would always come out Pacquiao. No. And people would send emails like writing it out phonetically so that I could say Pacquiao, But it like, I'm just like, here's this guy again, Pacquiao. I mean, really.
Did you ever get that wrong on television?
Yes.
Many times.
Yeah,
really?
Many. I was just like, look, guys, you all know who I'm talking about, right? Manny.
Yeah.
And eventually I just called him Manny, and then I would just skip the surname, But yeah, Pacquiao. It's also known as Manny Pacquiao.
Okay. So we've spoken about, you being a mom and being a journalist. What advice, it's always such a question you always ask, well, what advice, so cliche, what advice would you give to other young girls? I mean, when I've been interviewed, I get that all the time as a coach. What advice would you give to young girls if they want to be a coach? And it's always a difficult question to answer, but you do have a daughter. And maybe it's a bit easier to know the answer when you have a daughter. But what advice would you give to women, not even young girls, like in any industry, just in life,
Go study. Because I often get this in my Facebook inbox all the time. Like, what can I do? I want to be on TV. Oh, that's great. Go study. No, I don't want to study. I just want to be on TV. No, go study. So again, it's for the wrong reasons. You think it's all glamorous, and there's absolutely nothing glamorous about what I do. Apart from putting on the makeup, if you really like that, there is really nothing glamorous. You run around, you file stories, you phone people, you credit sources, it's busy.
We have covered many things, but now you have a new project. Or is it new?
Which one?
So I know you're a very, very busy lady. So the one that when we last chatted, it was Babies Behind Bars. That, honestly, when I spoke to you about that, I left feeling just, how do I get involved? Being a mom also, I think really pulls at your heartstrings already. And so did you start this? Was it a passion project of yours, or did you partner with people who were already involved in this? And what is actually that all about?
So Babies Behind Bars I started back in 2007. So before I ventured into sport, I was a hard news journalist. And because, yes, I was 19, 20, no one ever really gave me the lead story in the newsroom. I always got like these fluffy things. Oh, Romy, there's a new dog food. Go to the launch, And then they sent me to a kid's Christmas party in Hosimampuru prison in Pretoria. And I went there kicking and screaming because I was like, why am I not getting the 18 people who died story? But anyway, off I went. And I was quite surprised because when we got there was about 30 moms and 30 children ages 0 to 5 living in prison. I was like, that's kind of strange. What are the kids doing here? And that's when I found out that moms were actually sentenced when they're pregnant, birth their children in prison, and the kids could stay. Back in the day, they could stay up until the age of 5, and now they stay up until the age of 2. And I met the cutest little boy that day, and he could jive to Mendoza's music, and he was just so cute, man. I really fell in love with him. And the male cameraman who I was with picked him up, and he would go ballistic. But then when I play with him, he's fine. And then the male cameraman tries, and then he goes ballistic. I was like, what are you doing to the child? And the head of the section said, he doesn't know what a man is. He doesn't have that interaction. All day, every day, he's in the cell with the women, and he only knows what women are. And then I thought, but that's kind of strange when you're 5 years old. You're a little boy, you're going to grow up to be a man, and you don't know what a man is. And that kind of disturbed me a little bit. And they said the only interaction he has with a male is on a Thursday when one of the inmates comes from the male section in an orange overall to mow the lawn. And
Wow.
that is what he knows to be a man. So that kind of, that just didn't sit well with me. So I filed my story. Then I came back to my brown couch and I just sat there and I thought, but someone's got to do something, Why does no one know about children in prison? Why don't they have what kids on the outside have? And then that's how Babies Behind Bars actually started, where I thought, we're so quick.
Did you name that?
Yes. Yeah. Babies Behind Bars. So I just thought, okay, so I could do something. On my Facebook status, I put there, how do I start a nonprofit organization? Because what do I know? I'm trying to build my journalism career. And now here's this. People responded as to how to register it. I opened up my garage on Facebook. I said, this is what I'm taking donations. And people actually came. So eventually my double garage became the storeroom for Babies Behind Bars and my little car parked outside. And that was the start.
So you mentioned that at 5 years old, they were taken away from their moms and now it's 2 years old. So what changed the age difference and where do these children go?
So age difference changed because between 0 to 5 is the formative years of a child's life. And what are they exposed to? Jail lingo. There's a 2-year-old in a Free State prison who can smuggle a note from one section to the other, and she's 2. And you watch this happen, and you just think, but how? But her mom knows. Her mom will give her the note. She knows where she needs to go, and she can't go far, right? They're going to bring her back to the mom and baby section. So she knows how to do that, and that is what they pick up. There's also a study in the US that shows that 80% of children born or raised in prison, ages 0 to 5, come back into the cycle. And that makes sense to me.
What do you mean, come back into the cycle?
They come back as criminals.
And they commit crime.
To come back. Because that's the formative years of their lives. That's that very delicate tapestry, I guess, of their very core and what it is that they learn.
So where do they go to at 2?
So social welfare. So either to like a place of safekeeping until the mom comes out. The mom can opt to give the child up for adoption or to a family member that can look after the child. But often you find, okay, so prison isn't a place for a child, but then they go to welfare and they get abused there. So would the child not have been better off in prison, So it's a bit of a catch-22. Or a grandmother who's now saddled with 5 grandchildren and now the 6th one comes along. And how does she fend and feed for them all, school and clothe them? And so sometimes you do look at instances and just think, but then wasn't the child better off in prison?
How do we get involved? How do people get involved? If they're watching this right now, who needs what? What do the children need? What is Babies Behind Bars in terms of how can people get involved?
I think actually in my life, I'm at a crossroads. I spoke of that T-junction, So I'm at that crossroads with literally everything in terms of my career and the charity. I've shut it down in its current existence because we used to roll out every second month. We used to pack a wish list for 17 prisons in South Africa, 4 Namibia and 1 in Swaziland. And I just took a step back and I thought, I don't just want handouts anymore. It worked for the past 13, 14 years, but I want a bigger and deeper impact, Prison isn't a nice place. So often you'll take things, but when you go again, you'll see that it's long siphoned out of the prison or it's bartered, a teddy bear for your child for smokes or deodorant or I need a chocolate today. And that's life in prison. I want a bigger impact. I want early childhood development, ages 0 to about 3. I want a school in every single prison. I want outdoor play spaces for every single prison where the kids go out, they play on the swing, they feel the sun on their face, the grass on their feet, that they reach those milestones because they don't. They're just in the cell all day long. That's what I want now. I don't want to do what is your wish list? What do you want? I want to see children develop and grow. And that they're given a chance when they go out into the real world and join schools, that they can hold a pencil or a pen and have a proper grip, and that they're not baffled by what grass feels like or sand and water, that they have that messy play and just that chance at developing properly. And that is really what I want to do. So I'm in talks with the Department of Correctional Services, the Deputy Minister's Office, and I'm not going to stop at anything until it is that I get in there. And I'm a doula as well, so I want to impart that skill to the inmates so that a mom can help or someone can help, you know, because if it is that you're going to give birth in prison and no one comes.
So, Romy, you have a crazy life.
Yeah.
I just feel like you're always working, which you probably are, and, you know, involved in amazing projects, which is like unbelievable. And, you know, from one woman to another, I salute you on that.
you.
And I'm very proud and honored to know you, and for you to be sitting here chatting with me, knowing your life and the craziness of it. So tell me what you do for fun. Like, what does Romy Titus do
go to the spa.
for fun? You go to
I
the
love
spa.
spas.
Really?
I love spas. I love bathrooms. I had a water birth with my daughter because that, like, bathroom, water, spas.
Really?
That's it.
So what, like a full body massage?
Full body
deep tissue
massage, yes, yeah, whatever.
Any massage?
I love gong sound therapy.
Who?
Gong therapy. You
Gong
should try
therapy,
it, yeah.
okay.
Sound therapy aligns your chakras, but actually the vibration of the gongs. So they actually just play these gongs all over your body,
Yeah.
and you go into the
Really?
nicest, deepest sleep that you've ever had.
I need
Oh,
that.
it's heaven.
I need that.
But
I need
spas, I
spas.
love the spa.
One last question. Wine or gin?
Gin. Cheers.
Cheers, she says with a coffee cup in her hand. Okay, so the next time we got to make sure that there's gin.
Gin.
So, Romy, thank you so much. I appreciate, I know you are a very, very
Thank
busy girl,
you.
busy woman, and I appreciate your time spent with us today. And thank you for joining us at Pretty Strong, and thank you for supporting that's it.
Yeah. See my bicep
yeah.
is growing. Look there.
Yeah, I see
yeah.
it. Can I feel it? And thank you. There we go. And thank you for supporting the brand of Slack Alice. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about your future. So, you know, you are invited anytime.
Thank you.
to
Pizza
come
and
and
pasta
to-
sounds good.
Pizza. Oh, you're going to miss out on the pizza and pasta. We're having that for lunch.
Oh.
But so next time we have to arrange it around lunchtime
Sure.
so that you're not having muffins
Okay.
for breakfast. So we have to do a pizza day. So that would be amazing. But thank
But
you
gin any time
so-
of the day is welcome, okay?
Any time of the day, you're welcome. So thank you so much. And everyone that has been watching, I just hope that you've enjoyed this conversation as much as I've had and learned so much. Stay empowered. Stay pretty strong. Love you guys.